Jake Morrison stared at his screen with growing worry. The signals from Earth had stopped. All of them? At once. For 12 years, Jake had worked at the Kepler 7 monitoring station. He watched space traffic, tracked messages, and kept records of all the activity in this part of the galaxy. Earth was always busy. Ships came and went every hour. Messages flew back and forth between worlds. Trade deals, family calls, news reports. Earth never slept, but now there was nothing. Jake ran his hand through his gray hair. His 3 eyes, a gift from his Zephyrian mother, blinked in sequence as he checked his equipment. Everything worked fine. The problem was not on his end. Computer, show me Earth's communication logs for the past 24 hours. He said. The screen filled with data. Messages, calls, and signals flowed normally until exactly 1432 Galactic Standard Time. Then everything stopped. Not slowly. Not one by one. All at once, like someone had flipped a switch. Jake's blue skin turned pale. In all his years of monitoring, he had never seen anything like this. Even during the Centauri War, Earth had kept sending messages. Even during the great solar storm of 2381, some signals had gotten through. He reached for his communication device. Amy Carter needed to know about this. Amy Carter was having lunch with her friend Zix when her communicator buzzed. She looked at the caller ID and frowned. Jake Morrison never called during his shift unless something was very wrong. "Excuse me," she said to the insect-like alien across from her. Amy pressed the answer button. "Jake, what's going on?" "Amy, we have a problem. Earth has gone silent." Amy nearly dropped her sandwich. "What do you mean, silent?" "No signals. Number. Ships. No messages. Nothing has come from Earth in the past 6 hours." Amy stood up quickly. Her chair scraped against the floor of the Centauri Council Station's dining hall. Other beings looked at her with curiosity. Humans rarely showed such sudden emotion. "That's impossible," Amy said. "Earth handles millions of communications every day. The stock exchange alone sends out thousands of signals per hour." "I know," Jake replied. "But the last signal came at 1432. Since then, nothing." Amy's mind raced. She was the human liaison officer for this sector. If something had happened to Earth, she would be the first to know. But her own communication channels to Earth were also quiet. "I'll contact the other stations," Amy said. "Maybe it's just a problem with the relay systems." But deep down, she knew it was not that simple. Within an hour, Amy had her answer. Every monitoring station in the galaxy reported the same thing. Earth had gone completely silent. No outgoing messages, no departing ships, no response to incoming calls. The news spread through the galactic community like fire through dry grass. Earth, the planet that never stopped talking, had suddenly stopped talking. In the command center of the human ship Horizon, Captain Lisa Brooks received the emergency message from Fleet Command. She read it twice before she believed it. "All ships." "This is Captain Brooks," she announced over the ship's communication system. "We have new orders. We are to proceed immediately to the Sol system to investigate reports of communication failure from Earth." Her crew of humans and aliens looked at each other with concern. Communication failure was one thing. Complete silence was another. "Captain," said her first officer, a tall human named Pete Johnson, "how long since the last contact with Earth?" 8 hours, Lisa replied, and counting. The Horizon changed course toward Earth. It would take them 3 days to reach the Sol system. Lisa hoped they would find answers there, but as they traveled, more disturbing news arrived. The Martian colonies were also silent. The space stations around Jupiter had stopped responding. Even the mining operations in the asteroid belt had gone quiet. It was as if every human in the Sol system had simply vanished. On the third day, the horizon arrived at the edge of the Sol system. Lisa stood on the bridge, looking at the view screen. What she saw made her heart sink. The space lanes were empty. Usually, hundreds of ships moved between the planets. Trade vessels, passenger ships, military patrols. The Sol system was always busy. Now it looked like a ghost town. "Captain," said the communications officer, "I'm getting no response from Earth traffic control. No response from Mars base. No. Response from Europa Station." Lisa nodded grimly. "Take us toward Earth. Keep scanning for any signs of life." As they approached Earth, the ship's sensors began picking up something strange. The planet looked normal from space. The continents were in the right places. The oceans were blue. The clouds swirled in familiar patterns. But something was different. "Captain," said the science officer, "a young woman named Kate Adams. Detecting an energy field around Earth. It's very faint, but it's there." "What kind of energy field?" Lisa asked. "I've never seen anything like it. It's not blocking our sensors, but it's strange, like it's bending space around the planet." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. "Can we communicate through it?" "I don't know. We can try." For the next hour, they tried everything. Radio signals, subspace communications, even old-fashioned light signals. Nothing got through. Earth was wrapped in a bubble of energy that seemed to absorb or deflect everything they sent. "Captain," Pete said quietly, "what do we do now?" Lisa looked at the planet that had been humanity's home for thousands of years. Somewhere down there, billions of people lived their lives. Or had lived their lives. She could not tell which. "We wait," she said. "And we call for help." Within hours, ships from across the galaxy began arriving in the Sol system. The Zephyrian Empire sent their best scientists. The Crystalline Collective brought their most advanced sensors. The nomadic tribes offered their expertise in strange phenomena. All of them had the same question. What had happened to the humans? As more ships arrived, the energy field around Earth began to pulse. Slowly at first, then faster. It was as if the planet was breathing, or as if something inside was waking up. Lisa watched the pulsing energy field and felt a growing sense of dread. Whatever had happened to Earth, she was certain of one thing. This was just the beginning. The alien fleets formed a ring around Earth. Ships from 12 different species floated in the darkness of space, all trying to solve the same mystery. What had happened to the humans? Dr. Alex Turner floated in zero gravity as he studied the readings from his equipment. The research vessel Endeavour was the most advanced science ship in the Galactic Council fleet. If anyone could figure out the energy field around Earth, it would be his team. "The field is definitely artificial," Alex said to his assistant. Crystalline being named Vex. But the energy signature is unlike anything in our databases." Vex's crystal body sparkled as he processed the information. Could it be a weapon? Some kind of shield? "Maybe," Alex replied. "But why would humans shield their entire planet? And where are they getting the power?" The energy field was massive. It wrapped around Earth like a soap bubble, extending out past the moon's orbit. The amount of power needed to maintain such a field should have been impossible for human technology. On the command ship of the Zephyrian fleet, Commander Ryan Phillips was coordinating the search of human installations throughout the Sol system. His teams had found something very strange. "Sir," reported Lieutenant Jen Adams, "we've finished searching the Mars colonies. They're empty, but not abandoned." Ryan's 3 eyes focused on her. "Explain." "There are signs of a rapid evacuation. Food was left on tables. Computer terminals were still running. Personal belongings were left behind. But there's no sign of struggle or panic." How many people lived on Mars? According to the records, about 50,000. All gone, Ryan felt. A chill 50,000 people do not just disappear. And if they had evacuated, where had they gone? Similar reports came in from all over the Sol system. The space stations around Jupiter were empty but functional. The mining ships in the asteroid belt floated dead in space. Their crews vanished. Even the small research outpost on Pluto was deserted. It was as if every human in the solar system had simply walked away from their lives at the same moment. Back on the Endeavour, Alex made a breakthrough. Hidden in the computer systems of an abandoned space station, he found fragments of encrypted data. The files were heavily damaged, but some information could be recovered. Project Sanctuary. Alex read from his screen. Final protocol activated. All personnel to report to deep stations immediately. Vex's crystals chimed softly. Deep stations? What are deep stations? I don't know, Alex said, but look at this timestamp. These files were created just minutes before Earth went silent. More. Encrypted fragments revealed tantalizing clues. References to the deep places appeared multiple times. There were mentions of construction projects that had been running for decades. And most mysterious of all, repeated references to the Watchers in the Dark. Alex shared his findings with the other ships. Captain Lisa Brooks on the horizon studied the data with growing confusion. Construction projects? She said to her crew, what kind of construction projects could humans hide for decades? Her science officer, Kate Adams, had been studying the energy field around Earth. Captain, I think I know where they might be. Where? Underground? Look at these seismic readings from before Earth went silent. There was massive activity deep. Beneath the surface, not earthquakes. Construction. The idea seemed impossible. How could humans build something large enough to house billions of people without anyone knowing? But as the investigation continued, more evidence appeared. Old mining permits for projects that were far larger than necessary. Shipping records for materials that seemed to disappear. Energy consumption on Earth that was much higher than it should have been. They were building something, Lisa said. Something big. Something secret. As the alien ships continued their investigation, strange things began to happen. Crew members reported hearing whispers during their sleep cycles. The whispers were in human languages, but the words were unclear. On the Zephyrian command ship, Ryan Phillips was awakened by his own dreams. In them, he heard human voices calling out warnings. They come, the voices said. They come from the dark between stars. Ryan tried to dismiss the dreams as stress, but other crew members reported similar experiences. The whispers were always the same. Warnings about something coming from the darkness of space. Dr. Alex Turner was working late in his laboratory when it happened. The energy field around Earth suddenly flared bright. For just a moment, the field became visible to the naked eye, wrapping around the planet like a shimmering net. Then, just as quickly, it returned to normal. Did everyone see that? Alex called out over the communications network. Every ship had detected the flare. The energy field had pulsed like a heartbeat, sending waves of strange radiation across the solar system. But the most shocking discovery came from the deep space sensors. Captain Lisa Brooks stared at the readings with disbelief. That's impossible, she whispered. The energy pulse had been directed outward into deep space. It was not random. It was aimed at something specific, something far beyond the solar system. And 15 minutes after the pulse, they received an answer. It came from the direction of the galactic core. A signal so faint that only the most sensitive equipment could detect it. But the message was clear, even though it made no sense. Signal received. Perimeter holding. Estimate 73 standard years until arrival. The message was in human language, but it came from empty space, thousands of light years away. Alex ran the calculation 3 times to be sure. The signal had originated from a region of space where no human ships had ever traveled. A region that was supposed to be empty. Arrival of what? He asked the empty laboratory dot, as if in answer to his question. The long-range sensors detected something else. At the very edge of their range, almost too faint to notice, several star systems had simply disappeared. Not destroyed. Not exploded. Just gone, as if they had never existed. Alex felt his stomach drop. Whatever the humans were hiding from, it was already here. And it was moving toward the galactic core, toward Earth. On the bridge of the horizon, Captain Lisa Brooks made a decision. That would change everything. Open a channel to all ships, she ordered. Channel open, Captain. This is Captain Brooks to all vessels. Based on our findings, I believe the humans are not missing. They are hiding. And I think we need to find out why. She paused, looking at the energy field that wrapped around Earth like a protective shell. Because whatever they're hiding from, it's coming for all of us. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Rachel Stone had been on the Mining Station series when Earth went silent. As one of the few humans not on Earth when the silence fell, she had a unique perspective on the mystery. Rachel floated in the zero-gravity laboratory aboard the Endeavour, working alongside Dr. Alex Turner. Her fingers flew over the keyboard as she tried to crack the encrypted files they had found. There, she said suddenly. I've got something. The screen filled with data. Hidden beneath layers of encryption was a complete record of something called Project Sanctuary. As Rachel read through the files, her face grew pale. Alex, she said quietly, you need to see this. Alex drifted over to her workstation. What he saw made his crystalline assistant Vex chime in alarm. The files contained detailed plans for the largest construction project in human history. For 50 years, humans had been building massive underground cities beneath Earth's surface. The cities were designed to house not just humans, but representatives from every species in the galaxy. But why? Alex asked. Why build underground cities in secret? Rachel scrolled through more files. Her hands shook as she found the answer. Because of this, she said, pointing to a section labeled, The Warning. The files described an ancient alien artifact that had been discovered on Earth's moon in 2337. The artifact was a beacon left by a civilization that had died out millions of years ago. Inside the beacon was a message, a warning about something called the DEVOURERS. Alex read the translated message with growing horror. The Devourers were described as beings from outside normal space and time. They moved from galaxy to galaxy, consuming everything in their path. Stars, planets, entire civilizations, nothing could stop them. According to this, Rachel said, the Devourers destroy galaxies by eating the very fabric of space itself. They leave nothing behind, not even empty space. Just ... nothing. The ancient civilization that had left the warning had tried to fight the Devourers. They had failed. Their entire galaxy had been consumed. But before the end, they had managed to send out warning beacons to other galaxies. The beacon calculated when the Devourers would reach our galaxy, Rachel continued. The date was 2460. That's only 73 years from now. Alex felt his 3 hearts skip a beat. 73 years. The same number that had been in the mysterious signal from deep space. The humans have been preparing for this for 50 years, Rachel said. They've been building weapons, defenses, and safe places for everyone to hide. As Rachel continued to read through the files, the true scope of human preparation became clear. They had not just been building underground cities. They had been studying the Devourers, learning their weaknesses, and developing new technologies to fight them. Captain Lisa Brooks received the report on the bridge of the horizon. She read it 3 times before she fully understood what it meant. They knew she said to her first officer, Pete Johnson. The humans knew this was coming, and they've been preparing for it. But why didn't they tell anyone? Pete asked. Lisa thought about that. Because who would have believed them? An ancient alien, warning about monsters from another dimension? Most species would have thought humans were crazy. On the command ship of the Zephyrian fleet, Commander Ryan Phillips was having the same realization. The whispers his crew had been hearing made sense now. The dreams, the warnings about something. Coming from the dark, they were echoes of the preparation that had been happening on Earth. "Sir," reported Lieutenant John Adams, "we're detecting movement from the energy field around Earth." Ryan turned to the main view screen. The energy field was changing, becoming less stable. Sections of it flickered and pulsed, as if something was trying to break through from the inside. "Are they coming out?" Ryan asked. Before anyone could answer, a section of the energy field opened like a door. A single human ship emerged, moving slowly toward the alien fleet. The ship was unlike any human vessel they had ever seen. It was larger than most battleships, but its hull was covered in strange patterns that seemed to bend light around them. Weapon systems lined its surface, but they were of a design that no one recognized. Captain Lisa Brooks received the incoming communication. "First, this is General Paul Jackson of the Earth Defense Force. I am requesting a meeting with the commanding officers of all vessels in this system." Lisa looked at her crew with surprise. General Paul Jackson had been reported as retired 5 years ago, but here he was, commanding a ship that should not exist. "This is Captain Brooks of the Horizon. General, we thought you were missing along with everyone else on Earth." "We were never missing, Captain. We were preparing. And now it's time for the rest of the galaxy to learn what we've been preparing for." An hour later, representatives from every ship in the alien fleet gathered in the main conference room of the Zephyrian command vessel. General Jackson appeared on the main screen, broadcasting from his mysterious ship. Jackson was older than Lisa remembered, his hair now completely gray, but his eyes held a determination that had not been there before. 50 years ago, Jackson began, we found something on the moon. A warning from a dead civilization about a threat that would come to our galaxy. We had a choice. We could tell everyone and hope they would believe us, or we could prepare in secret. Why in secret? Asked Commander Ryan Phillips. Because panic would have destroyed us long before the Devourers arrived, Jackson replied. Instead, we used the time to build defenses and develop weapons that could actually fight these things. Dr. Alex Turner leaned forward. The energy field around Earth. What is it really? Jackson smiled grimly. It's not a shield to keep things out. It's a cage to keep things in. We've turned Earth into the largest fortress in the galaxy. Underground cities that can house billions of beings. Weapons that can damage extra-dimensional entities. And volunteers from every species who have been training to fight an enemy that most people can't even imagine. The revelation stunned the alien representatives. While they had been focused on trade and politics, humans had been quietly preparing for a war that would determine the fate of all life in the galaxy. But how did you keep it secret? Asked the crystalline representative. Cultural exchange programs, Jackson replied. Educational visits, scientific expeditions. Over the years, we brought representatives from every species to Earth. We told them the truth and gave them a choice. Join us in preparing for what's coming, or return to their lives with their memories altered. Memory alteration? Ryan Phillips looked shocked. That's forbidden by galactic law. Galactic law won't matter if we're all dead, Jackson said simply. We did what we had to do to protect everyone. As if summoned by his words, alarms began sounding throughout the fleet. The long-range sensors had detected something new. On the edge of the galaxy, entire star systems were winking out of existence. Not exploding, not being destroyed, simply ceasing to exist. The Devourers had arrived early. How long do we have? Lisa asked. Jackson checked his instruments. Based on their current rate of consumption, they'll reach the galactic core in 6 months. 6 months to prepare for a war against beings that consumed an entire civilization. No, Jackson said. And for the first time, he smiled. 6 months to spring the trap we've been building for 50 years. As he spoke, the energy field around Earth began to change. Instead of a simple barrier, it transformed into something far more complex. Patterns of light raced across its surface, and the very space around Earth seemed to bend and twist. Welcome, Jackson said, to the real Earth Defense Force. The energy field around Earth suddenly dropped like a curtain being pulled away. What the alien fleet saw beneath it made them gasp in wonder and fear. Earth's surface had been transformed. Massive weapon platforms covered every continent. Shield generators the size of mountains dotted the landscape. The oceans themselves seemed to glow with strange energy. This was not the Earth that anyone remembered. Captain Lisa Brooks stared at the view screen in amazement. How did you hide all of this? General Paul Jackson's voice came through the communicator. Holographic camouflage and dimensional folding. We made the surface look normal while we built the real defenses underneath. But the surface was just the beginning. As the alien ships watched, huge sections of the planet's crust began to move. They slid apart like puzzle pieces, revealing vast underground spaces that stretched for miles beneath the surface. Cities, entire cities filled with billions of people. Humans worked alongside beings from every known species. Zephyrians, crystallines, nomads, and dozens of other races moved through the underground spaces with purpose and coordination. My God, whispered Dr. Alex Turner. How many people are down there? 15 billion, Jackson replied. Humans and volunteers from across the galaxy, all trained for this moment. The scale of the operation was staggering. For 50 years, humans had been secretly recruiting and training an army. Cultural exchange programs had been cover stories. Scientific expeditions had been recruitment missions. Even some of the alien representatives watching from the fleet had been approached years. Algo. Commander Ryan Phillips felt a chill as he recognized some of the faces in the underground cities. His own aide, Lieutenant John Adams, appeared on the screen wearing human military gear. Jun? Ryan called out in shock. The young woman looked up at the camera and smiled sadly. I'm sorry, Commander. I volunteered for this program 3 years ago. My memories were altered, so I could continue working with you without suspicion. Similar revelations were happening across the fleet. Crew members who had been working alongside aliens for years revealed themselves as part of the human preparation. The infiltration had been deeper than anyone imagined, but there was no time for anger or betrayal. The long-range sensors brought worse news every hour. The Devourers were moving faster than expected. Star systems were disappearing at an alarming rate. Dr. Rachel Stone worked frantically in her laboratory, analyzing the data from the approaching threat. What she found made her blood run cold. They're not just consuming matter, she reported to the fleet commanders. They're eating the basic structure of space and time itself. Where they pass, nothing can exist again, not even empty space. The Devourers were not like any enemy the galaxy had ever faced. They came from outside the normal universe, from a place where the laws of physics worked differently. They fed on the very fabric of reality, leaving behind regions where nothing could ever exist again. How do you fight something like that? Asked Captain Lisa Brooks. General Jackson's image appeared on the main screen. Behind him, the underground cities of Earth buzzed with activity. Humans and aliens worked together, preparing weapons and defenses that defied understanding. We learned from the ancient beacon, Jackson explained. The civilization that left the warning had tried to fight the Devourers with conventional weapons. They failed because they were thinking in terms of normal space and time. And you found a different way? Asked Commander Ryan Phillips. We found the human way, Jackson replied. We learned to think in paradoxes and contradictions, to create weapons that work by breaking the rules of physics. On the screen behind Jackson, strange devices were being assembled. They looked like machines built from impossible geometries, with parts that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. Dr. Alex Turner studied the designs with fascination. Those weapons, they shouldn't be able to exist. That's exactly why they work, said a new voice. A woman appeared on the screen next to Jackson. She was introduced as Dr. Katie Williams, the chief scientist of the human resistance. The Devourers exist outside normal spacetime, Katie explained. So we had to create weapons that also exist outside normal spacetime. We call them reality anchors. The reality anchors were based on human mathematics that other species had always dismissed as impossible. Equations that produced contradictory results. Formulas that created paradoxes. Only humans, with their ability to think in opposites, had been able to make them work. But that's not all, Katie continued. We've also turned Earth itself into a weapon. The planet's transformation became clearer as she spoke. The underground cities were not just hiding places. They were components of a massive machine that used the entire planet as its power source. Earth had become a reality anchor the size of a world. The plan is simple, General Jackson explained. We let the Devourers approach. When they try to consume the galactic core, we activate the planetary reality anchor. Instead of eating us, they'll be trapped in a pocket of stable spacetime. A prison, Lisa Brooks said, understanding. The ultimate prison, Jackson confirmed. A place where the laws of physics are locked in place. Where nothing can change, nothing can be consumed, and nothing can escape. But the plan came with a terrible cost. To power the reality anchor, Earth would have to sacrifice its connection to normal space. The planet would become a sealed system, cut off from the rest of the galaxy forever. You're willing to trap yourselves with them? Asked Dr. Alex Turner. If that's what it takes to save everyone else, Jackson replied. Humanity has always been willing to make the hard choices. As the fleet commanders absorbed this information, new alarms began to sound. The Devourers had accelerated their approach. They would reach the galactic core in days, not months. All ships, Jackson announced, prepare for final positioning. The last battle for our galaxy is about to begin. The alien fleets moved into formation around Earth. Some would fight alongside the humans. Others would evacuate as many people as possible if the plan failed. But all of them understood that this was the moment that would determine the fate of all life in the galaxy dot and the underground cities of Earth. Humans and aliens worked side by side, preparing for a battle that would be unlike anything in galactic history. Children played in the deep chambers while their parents maintained weapons that could wound reality itself. Will it work? Asked Captain Lisa Brooks as she watched the preparations. General Jackson looked at the screens showing the approaching. Darkness. Star systems continued to disappear as the Devourers drew closer. Soon, they would reach the inner systems. Soon, they would find Earth. It has to work, he said simply. Because if it doesn't, there won't be anyone left to remember that we tried. The final phase of humanity's 50-year plan was about to begin. The species that had seemed so ordinary, so average, was about to reveal the greatest deception in galactic history. They had never been preparing to hide from the Devourers. They had been preparing to trap them dot, and now, as the darkness approached the heart of the galaxy, humanity's true nature was finally revealed. They were not just another species among many. They were the galaxy's guardians, willing to sacrifice everything to protect the lives of others. The last battle was about to begin. The darkness arrived at the edge of the Sol system like a wave of nothingness. Where it touched, stars simply stopped existing. Not exploded, not collapsed, they just ceased to be, leaving behind regions where even empty space could not exist. Admiral. Ben Parker stood in the war room deep beneath Earth's surface. Around him, hundreds of screens showed the approaching devourers. His hair had gone completely white during the 50 years of preparation, but his eyes still held the determination that had driven humanity's secret project. "All stations report ready," announced his aide, Commander Nicole Davis. "The reality anchors are charged and waiting." Ben nodded. The moment they had prepared for half a century was finally here. Above them, the combined fleets of the galaxy formed defensive lines. Below them, the underground cities housed billions of people from every known species. "Remember," Ben said to his staff, "we only get one chance at this. If the planetary reality anchor fails, there won't be a second try." The Devourers entered the solar system like a tide of destruction. They were not ships or creatures in any sense that living beings could understand. They were holes in reality itself, moving voids that consumed everything they touched. Captain Lisa Brooks watched from the bridge of the horizon as the first wave approached. Her ship was positioned with the human fleet, close enough to Earth to be protected by the reality anchors, but far enough to provide covering fire. "All ships, this is Admiral Parker," came the voice from Earth. "Begin Phase 1. Light them up." They, Galaxy's combined fleets, opened fire. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and kinetic rounds poured into the approaching darkness. For a moment, it seemed like they might be working. The Devourers slowed their advance, but then the weapons simply stopped existing. The energy beams vanished mid-flight. The torpedoes disappeared before they could explode. The kinetic rounds were erased from reality, as if they had never been fired. "Conventional weapons are useless," reported Dr. Alex Turner from the Endeavor. "They're consuming our attacks before they can hit." "Expected," Admiral Parker replied calmly. "All ships, withdraw to Phase 2 positions. It's time for the real weapons." Hidden throughout the solar system, the reality anchors began to activate. These were not the massive planetary device that Earth had become. These were smaller versions, designed to create pockets of stable spacetime where conventional physics still worked. The effect was immediate. In the zones protected by the reality anchors, the galaxy's weapons began to work again. The Devourers found themselves facing an enemy that could actually hurt them, but the cost was enormous. Each reality anchor required massive amounts of energy to maintain. One by one, they began to fail under the strain. "We're losing the outer anchors," reported Commander Nicole Davis. "The Devourers are adapting to our defense." Admiral Parker had expected this. The smaller reality anchors were never meant to win the battle. They were meant to buy time and draw the Devourers toward Earth. "All fleet units, fall back to Earth orbit," he ordered. "Begin Phase 3. The retreat looked like a defeat. The Galaxy ships fled toward Earth as the Devourers consumed the outer solar system. Mars disappeared first, then the asteroid belt, then Jupiter and its moons. The Devourers were accelerating, drawn by the massive energy signature of Earth's planetary reality anchor. "They're taking the bait," Nicole reported. "All Devourers are converging on Earth." This was the moment Ben Parker had planned for. The Devourers thought they were chasing a fleeing enemy. Instead, they were walking into the largest trap in galactic history. "Activate the planetary reality anchor," Ben ordered. Full power, lock down local spacetime. The effect was incredible. Earth suddenly became the center of a bubble of stable reality. Within this bubble, the laws of physics worked normally. The Devourers could not consume matter or energy. They could not erase things from existence. For the first time in millions of years, the Devourers were trapped. Now, Ben shouted, all ships, all weapons, everything we have. The galaxy's combined fleets unleashed everything they had. But these were not the same weapons they had used before. These were reality weapons, designed by human scientists to work within the stable space-time of the reality anchor. The Devourers, trapped in normal space for the first time, found themselves vulnerable. The reality weapons tore into them, causing damage that they had never experienced before. But the Devourers were learning. They began to adapt, trying to break through the reality anchor that held them prisoner. The anchor is holding, reported Dr. Katie Williams from the main engineering station. But they're putting enormous strain on the system. We can't maintain this forever. Admiral Parker knew this was the critical moment. The Devourers were trapped, but not defeated. If the reality anchor failed, they would escape and continue their consumption of the galaxy. Commander Davis, he said, prepare for final protocol. Nicole looked at him with sadness in her eyes. The final protocol was the last part of humanity's plan. It would save the galaxy, but at the ultimate cost. Are you sure? She asked. We always knew it would come to this, Ben replied. Begin the transformation. Throughout Earth's underground cities, massive machines began to activate. These were not weapons or defenses. They were transformation devices, designed to change the very nature of the planet itself. Earth began to shift out of normal spacetime. The reality anchor was becoming permanent, locking the planet and everything on it in a stable pocket of existence. The Devourers would be trapped forever, unable to escape or consume anything else. But Earth would be trapped with them. All ships. This is Admiral Parker, that announced to the fleet. Earth is about to become a sealed system. Anyone who wants to leave has 60 seconds. Most of the alien ships fled immediately. They had fought bravely, but they had their own worlds to protect. A few ships remained, their crews choosing to stay with the humans who had saved them all. Captain Lisa Brooks made her choice quickly. All crew members who want to leave, report to the escape pods immediately. Anyone staying with Earth, prepare for dimensional transition. About half her crew chose to leave. The rest remained at their posts, accepting their fate alongside humanity. As the transformation continued, the Devourers realized what was happening. They threw themselves against the reality anchor with desperate fury, trying to break free before the trap closed permanently. But it was too late. The transformation was complete. Earth disappeared from normal spacetime, taking the Devourers with it. In the place where Earth had been, there was now a region of stable space that nothing could enter or leave. The galaxy was safe. The Devourers were trapped forever. And humanity had paid the ultimate price for everyone's freedom. In the years that followed, the galaxy remembered. Earth became a memorial, a sealed tomb where the greatest heroes in galactic history had made their final stand. Children from every species learned about the humans who had seemed so ordinary, so average, but who had sacrificed everything to save them all. The memorial bore a simple inscription: "Here lies humanity and their allies, who chose to stand guard in the darkness so that others might live in the light." Deep within the sealed reality of Earth, life continued. The underground cities thrived. Children played in the deep chambers, growing up in a world where the greatest victory in galactic history had been won. They were cut off from the galaxy. They had saved, but they were not alone. And in the deepest chambers, where the Devourers were held in their eternal prison, human guards stood watch. They would stand watch forever, making sure that the darkness never escaped again. The species that had seemed so unremarkable had revealed themselves as the galaxy's true guardians. They had given up their place among the stars to ensure that the stars would continue to shine. And in doing so, they had shown what it truly meant to be human. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Thundersoul. He looked out at the stars through the large window. Space was quiet today, too quiet. The massive ship moved slowly through the dark between stars. Its engines hummed softly. Had been a captain for 10 years. He was 42 years old with gray hair at his temples. His crew trusted him. They had flown together for 3 years now. The Thundersoul was their home among the stars. "Captain, all systems are working fine," said Lisa Brooks. She was the chief engineer. Lisa was 35, with short brown hair. She knew every part of the ship. When something broke, Lisa could fix it. She loved the Thundersoul like it was alive. The ship was huge. It was 2 miles long and half a mile wide. The hull was made of special metal that could take heavy hits. Inside, 5,000 crew members lived and worked. The Thundersoul had the best weapons humans had ever built. It also had shields that could stop almost anything. Ryan Carter sat at the weapons station. He was 28, with blonde hair and quick hands. Ryan could hit targets that other people could not even see. He had trained for years to be the best. The plasma cannons were his favorite weapons. They could melt through thick armor in seconds. How? Long until we reach the next patrol point? Jake asked. Amy Nelson checked her screen. She was the communications officer. Amy was 26 with red hair and a bright smile. She could speak 5 languages and understood alien signals too. 4 hours, Captain, she said. Jake nodded. They had been patrolling for 6 months. The same route every week. The same empty space. No pirates, no aliens, no trouble at all. His crew was getting bored. Jake could see it in their faces. The Thundersoul was not like other human ships. Most ships were built to explore. They carried scientists and families. They looked for new planets to live on. The Thundersoul was different. It was built to fight. 5 years ago, humans had met their first aliens. The meeting went well. The aliens seemed friendly. They traded goods and shared star maps. Humans thought all aliens would be the same. They were wrong. Reports came in about missing ships. Human colonies lost contact with Earth. Something was hunting humans in the dark between stars. The government decided to build warships. The Thundersoul was the first. Atlas, run a full system check, Jake said to the air. A calm voice answered from the speakers. System check complete, Captain Morrison. All weapons at full power. Shields at 100%. Engines running at peak efficiency. Atlas was a ship's computer brain. It could think faster than any human. It could control every part of the ship at once. Atlas learned from every battle and every mistake. The crew sometimes forgot it was just a machine. Lisa walked over to Jake. The quantum core is stable, she said quietly. But I think we should test the new weapons soon. The plasma cannons have been upgraded. We need to know they work, Jake agreed. The Thundersoul carried weapons that had never been used in real battle. The engineers said they were powerful. But saying and doing were different things. Set up a test for tomorrow. Jake said, use some old asteroids for targets. Far away, in a different part of space, alien ships moved through the darkness. They were sleek and smooth. Their hulls glowed with soft blue light. These ships belonged to the Zephyrian Empire. Admiral Kethver stood in his command room. He was tall with purple skin and forearms. His species had ruled space for 1,000 years. They thought they were the strongest beings in the galaxy. The humans spread too fast, Kethva said to his officers. They take planets that belong to us. They build ships without asking permission. This cannot continue. The other aliens nodded. They had watched humans for months. Human ships looked weak to them. Humans seemed soft and emotional. The Zephyrians thought humans would be easy to defeat. "How many ships do they have?" asked Commander Zextar. "Not many," Kethfall replied. "Maybe 50 warships total. We have thousands. Their technology is primitive. They use metal and circuits. We use living bioships that can heal themselves." The aliens laughed. They could not imagine losing to humans. Humans were babies compared to them. The Zephyrians had fought wars for centuries. They had conquered dozens of species. "Prepare the fleet," Hethver ordered. "We will strike their colonies first. When they see our power, they will surrender. If they do not surrender, we will destroy them all." Back on the Thunder Soul, Jake felt restless. He walked through the ship's long hallways. Crew members saluted as he passed. They were good people. They had families back on Earth. They trusted Jake to keep them safe. Jake stopped at the observation deck. Through the clear wall, he could see space stretching forever. Somewhere out there, other humans were living on new worlds. They were building homes and raising children. They thought they were safe. Amy's voice came over the ship's speakers. "Captain to the bridge. We have an incoming message." Jake hurried. Back to the bridge. Amy looked worried. "It's from Fleet Command, sir. Priority 1. Jake took the message pad. He read it quickly. His face went pale. The message was short, but terrible. 3 human colonies had gone silent. The last signals showed unknown ships in orbit. "How old is this message?" Jake asked. 2 days, Amy said. "It took time to reach us out here." Jake looked at his crew. They were waiting for orders. The Thunder Soul was the closest warship to the missing colonies. If anyone could help, it was them. "Lisa, how fast can we get to the Kepler system?" Jake asked. Lisa checked her numbers. "At maximum speed, 18 hours. "Then that's where we're going," Jake said. "All hands battle stations. We're going to war." The Thunder Soul turned toward the Kepler system. Its engines roared to life. The massive ship picked up speed. Jake did not know what they would find when they arrived. But he knew his crew was ready. The hunt was about to begin. The Thunder Soul raced through space at top speed. The stars streaked past like white lines. Jake stood on the bridge with his arms crossed. His crew worked quietly around him. Everyone knew this was serious. 15 minutes until we reach Kepler 442b, Amy announced. She kept checking for signals from the planet. So far, there was only silence. Lisa's voice came from the engine room. "Captain, the quantum core is running hot. We're pushing the engines too hard." "Keep them running," Jake replied. "We need every bit of speed." Brian checked his weapons for the 10th time. The plasma cannons were charged and ready. The missile tubes were loaded. His hands moved over the controls like a piano player. "All weapons ready, Captain." Jake nodded. He had a bad feeling about this mission. 3 colonies didn't just go silent for no reason. Something had happened to them. Something bad. "Atlas, scan for any ships when we drop out of faster-than-light travel," Jake ordered. "Understood, Captain." Scanning systems are active. The Thunder Soul slowed down as it reached the Kepler system. The stars stopped streaking. Jake could see the yellow sun ahead. Kepler 442b was a small blue and green planet. 50,000 humans lived there. They grew food and mined metals for Earth. "Dropping out of faster-than-light travel now," announced the pilot. Space around them returned to normal. Jake immediately looked at the main screen. What he saw made his blood run cold. 12 alien ships surrounded the planet. They were unlike anything Jake had ever seen. The ships looked alive. Their hulls curved and twisted like sea creatures. Blue and green lights pulsed along their sides. They were beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "Holy hell," Ryan whispered. "Those are big." The alien ships were each about a mile long. They moved slowly around the planet like sharks circling prey. Jake could see burn marks on the planet's surface. The aliens had already attacked. "Amy, try to contact the colony," Jake ordered. Amy worked at her station. Static filled the speakers. Then a weak voice came through. It was Sam Hughes, the colony director. "This is Sam Hughes on Kepler 442b. If anyone can hear this, we need help. Alien ships appeared 2 days ago. They demanded we surrender. When we refused, they started bombing our cities. Our shields are failing. We have maybe 6 hours left." The signal cut to static. Amy tried to get it back, but there was nothing. Jake's jaw tightened. 50,000 innocent people were about to die. The Thunder Soul was just one ship against 12. But it was the only ship here. "Sir, one of the alien ships is turning toward us," Ryan reported. "The largest alien ship broke away from the others. It was bigger than the rest." "Probably there." "Flagship. It moved toward the Thunder Soul like a predator approaching its prey." "Incoming transmission," Amy said. "They want to talk. Put it on screen." The main screen flickered. An alien face appeared. It was humanoid, but wrong. Purple skin, 4 eyes, a mouth full of sharp teeth. When it spoke, its voice was like grinding metal. "I am Admiral Kethver of the Zephyrian Empire. You will surrender immediately or be destroyed." Jake stepped forward. "I'm Captain Jake Morrison of the USS Thundersoul. You're attacking innocent civilians. Stop the bombing and withdraw from this system." The alien laughed. It was an ugly sound. "Humans, so weak, so stupid. You trespass in our space. You build colonies where you don't belong. We are cleaning up your mess." "This is human space," Jake said. "We have legal claim to this system." "Your laws mean nothing," Kethver replied. "We ruled this galaxy before your species learned to make fire. You are children playing with toys. Surrender now, and we will make your death quick." Jake felt anger building in his chest. This alien thought humans were weak. It thought they would just give up and die. It was wrong. "Let me make something clear," Jake said. His voice was calm but deadly. "You have 30 seconds to stop bombing that planet and leave this system. If you don't, I'll stop you myself." Kethver's 4 eyes widened. Then he laughed even louder. "One ship against 12. You are either very brave or very stupid. Probably stupid." 20 seconds, Jake said. The alien's face twisted with anger. "You dare threaten me? I have conquered 100 worlds. My ships have destroyed entire fleets. You are nothing but insects in a metal shell." 10 seconds, Kethver snarled. "Destroy them. Show these humans what real power looks like." The screen went black. Jake turned to his crew. They were all looking at him, waiting for orders. "Well," Jake said, "I guess we're doing this the hard way." The alien ships began to move. They spread out in attack formation. Their weapons began to glow with green light. Jake could see energy building up in their gun ports. "All hands, this is the captain," Jake announced over the ship's speakers. "We are about to engage 12 enemy ships. They think we're weak. They think we'll run. They're about to learn why that's a mistake. All stations, battle ready. Leases." Voice came from engineering. "Quantum core at full power. All systems running hot." Ryan's fingers danced over his controls. "Weapons charged. Targeting systems online." Amy checked her equipment. "Communications ready. I'll jam their signals when you give the word." Atlas spoke in its calm voice. "All defensive systems active. Shields at maximum power." Jake watched the alien ships approach. They moved slowly, confidently. They thought this would be easy. Jake smiled grimly. These aliens had never fought humans before. They had no idea what they were about to face. "Atlas, activate combat mode," Jake ordered. The bridge lights dimmed to red. Every screen showed weapon readouts and target information. The Thunder Soul, transformed from an exploration ship into a weapon of war. The alien flagship fired first. A beam of green energy shot across space toward the Thunder Soul. Jake didn't flinch. "Shields up," he ordered. The alien weapon hit their shields. Green light flowed around the ship like water. The Thunder Soul didn't even shake. "No damage," Ryan reported. "Their weapons are weaker than expected." More alien ships opened fire. Green beams crossed space from all directions. The Thunder Soul's shields absorbed every shot. The quantum generators hummed with power. Jake watched the light show for a moment. Then he smiled. "Is that it? Is that all they have?" Kethver's voice came over the radio. He sounded confused. "Impossible. Our weapons should have destroyed you." "Your turn's over," Jake said. "Now it's ours." He turned to Ryan. "Show them what human weapons can do." Ryan's smile was sharp as a knife. "With pleasure, Captain." The Thunder Soul's main guns began to charge. Plasma energy built up in the cannon barrels. The ship's hull glowed with barely contained power. "Target the flagship," Jake ordered. "Full power." The Thunder Soul fired its first shot of the war. The Thunder Soul's main cannon fired with the force of a small sun. A beam of pure plasma energy shot across space. It was white-hot and beautiful. The alien flagship tried to dodge, but it was too slow. The plasma beam hit the alien ship's side. The biohull melted like ice in a fire. Green fluid leaked out into space. The alien ship spun out of control, its lights flickering and dying. "Direct hit," Ryan shouted. "Enemy flagship is badly damaged." Jake watched the alien ship struggle to stay together. Its organic hull was trying to heal itself, but the damage was too severe. He felt no joy in the destruction, only cold determination. "Admiral Kethver, are you still there?" Jake asked over the radio. Static filled the speakers. Then the alien's voice came through, weaker now. "Impossible. Your weapons cannot be that powerful." "That was just one shot," Jake replied. "I have plenty more." The other 11 alien ships stopped their attack. Jake could almost feel their shock. They had expected to destroy the Thunder Soul easily. Instead, their flagship was dying. "All ships, attack pattern 7. Kethver ordered his fleet. "Surround the human ship. Use full power." The alien ships moved faster now. They formed a circle around the Thunder Soul. Green energy began building up in their weapons again. This time they were taking the fight seriously. "Lisa, I need more power," Jake called to engineering. Lisa's voice came back immediately. "Already on it, Captain. Pushing the quantum core past safety limits. We'll have 30% more power, but the core might overheat." "Do it," Jake ordered. The Thunder Soul began to glow brighter. Energy flowed through every system. The ship's weapons charged faster. Its shields became stronger. Even the engines hummed with new power. "Atlas, combat analysis," Jake said. The computer's voice was calm as always. 11 enemy ships remaining. Their weapons are bioplasma-based. Moderate power, slow firing rate. Their hulls can self-repair, but are vulnerable to sustained damage. Weaknesses? There. Ships are alive. They feel pain. Damage to certain areas will cause the ships to retreat or become confused. Jake smiled. The aliens thought their living ships were an advantage. But living things could be hurt. Living things could be afraid. Ryan, target their weapon ports. Amy, jam their communications. I want them confused and blind. Amy's fingers flew over her controls. jamming all alien frequencies. They can't talk to each other anymore. Ryan locked onto the nearest alien ship. Target acquired. Firing. The Thunder Soul's side cannons opened fire. Smaller plasma beams shot out in all directions. Each beam found its target. Alien weapon ports exploded in green fire. The enemy ships began firing wildly, hitting nothing but empty space. Moving to attack position, announced the pilot. The Thunder Soul accelerated toward the alien formation. It moved faster than anything its size should be able to move. The quantum engines pushed the massive ship like a bullet through space. 2 alien ships tried to block its path. They fired their remaining weapons at close range. The plasma beams hit the Thunder Soul's shields and bounced off harmlessly. "Ram them," Jake ordered. "Sir?" the pilot asked. "You heard me." "Ram them." The pilot's hands tightened on the controls. The Thunder Soul's nose was reinforced with the hardest metals humans knew how to make. It could punch through anything. The first alien ship tried to dodge. It was too late. The Thunder Soul hit it at full speed. The biohull cracked like an eggshell. Green fluid and atmosphere leaked out. The alien ship went dead in space. The second ship fired everything it had at point-blank range. The energy beams washed over the Thunder Soul's hull. The shields held firm. Ryan fired the main cannon straight down the alien ship's throat. The explosion lit up space like a new star. 3 down, 9 to go, Ryan reported. The remaining alien ships were panicking now. Without communications, they couldn't coordinate their attacks. Some tried to run. Others fired randomly. One ship even shot at its own allies by mistake. Felt the battle turning. The aliens had thought they were fighting helpless humans. Instead, they found themselves facing a ship designed for war. Every system on the Thunder Soul was built to kill enemy vessels. "Lisa, how's the quantum core?" Jake asked. "Running hot but stable," Lisa replied. "We can maintain this power level for another hour." That was more than enough time. Jake watched the alien ships scatter across space. They moved like frightened animals. Their formation was broken. Their confidence was gone. ATLAS marked the fastest alien ship, the one trying to escape. "Target marked, Captain." "Ryan, don't let it get away. If any ship escapes, they'll bring reinforcements." Ryan's targeting computer locked onto the fleeing alien vessel. It was smaller than the others and faster, but not faster than plasma moving at the speed of light. Firing. The plasma beam crossed 1,000,000 miles in seconds. It hit the alien ship's engines. The biohull burst into flames. The ship tumbled through space. Its escape attempt ended. Admiral Kethver's voice crackled over the radio. "This is impossible. You are just one ship. One primitive human ship." "That's your problem," Jake replied. "You thought we were primitive. You thought we were weak. You thought wrong." The alien flagship was still alive, but barely. Its biohull was slowly healing, but the damage was too severe. Green blood leaked from a dozen wounds. The ship's lights flickered like a dying heartbeat. "Your people conquered 100 worlds?" Jake asked. How many of those worlds had ships like mine? Silence from the alien admiral. "That's what I thought," Jake continued. "You've been fighting people with sticks and stones. Welcome to a real war." 4 alien ships tried one last desperate attack. They came at the Thunder Soul from all sides, hoping to overwhelm its defenses. Ryan calmly targeted each one in turn. The first ship died to a direct hit to its brain center. The second lost its weapons and fled. The third tried to ram the Thunder Soul, but hit the shields instead. The fourth ship simply stopped moving when it saw what happened to the others. 6 ships left, Ryan announced. "Should I finish them?" Jake looked at the remaining alien vessels. They hung in space like broken toys. Their crews were probably terrified. Good. Terror was a lesson they needed to learn. "Admiral Cathvar," Jake said into the radio, "you have two choices. Run away now and tell your empire what happened here, or stay and join your dead ships." The alien admiral's voice was bitter. "This is not over, human. We will return with 1,000 ships. And we'll be waiting," Jake promised. The surviving alien ships began to retreat. They moved slowly at first, then faster as they realized the Thunder Soul wasn't following. Soon they were jumping to faster-than-light travel, running home to lick their wounds. Jake watched them disappear into the darkness between stars. The battle was over. The Thunder Soul had won. But this was just the beginning. "Amy, contact the colony. Tell them they're safe." "Already working on it, Captain." The radio crackled to life. Sam Hughes' voice came through, filled with wonder. "Thunder Soul, this is Kepler Colony. We watched the whole battle. How did you do that? 12 ships against one." Jake smiled. "We're human. That's how." Space around Kepler 442b was filled with wreckage. Pieces of alien ships drifted like metal snow. Green biofluid formed clouds that glowed in the starlight. The Thunder Soul moved slowly through the debris field, checking for survivors. "Scan complete," Atlas announced. "No life signs detected in the wreckage. All enemy personnel are dead." Jake nodded grimly. He felt no joy in the deaths, but the aliens had made their choice. They came to murder innocent people. They got what they deserved. "Captain, incoming transmission from the planet," Amy reported. "Put it through." Sam Hughes appeared on the main screen. He was a man in his 50s with gray hair and tired eyes. Behind him, Jake could see other colonists. They looked shocked but grateful. "Captain Morrison, I don't know how to thank you," Sam said. "We thought we were going to die. Those alien ships were tearing through our defenses like paper. How many casualties?" Jake asked. Sam's face darkened. 3,000 dead. 2 cities were completely destroyed before you arrived. But without you, we would have lost everyone. Jake felt anger building in his chest again. 3,000 innocent people had died because the aliens thought they owned the galaxy. This couldn't happen again. "Sam, I need you to send a message." "To Earth," Jake said. "Tell them what happened here. Tell them the aliens are not friendly. Tell them we need more ships like the Thunder Soul." "Already done, Captain. The message was sent an hour ago." "Good. How long until you can rebuild your defenses?" 6 months, maybe more. We lost most of our shield generators." Jake made a decision. "We'll stay in orbit until relief arrives. No one else is going to die on my watch." Sam's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, Captain. Thank you." The transmission ended. Jake turned to his crew. They had fought well, but the battle had taken its toll. The ship's hull was scorched in places. Some systems were damaged. They needed repairs. "Lisa, damage report," Jake ordered. Lisa's voice came from engineering. "Hull breaches on decks 7 and 12. Nothing serious. Shield generators are running hot, but functional. The quantum core needs a cool-down period, but it's stable. How long until we're combat ready again?" "Give me 6 hours and we'll be good as new." Jake nodded. 6 hours to repair their ship. But what about the aliens? The survivors would report back to their empire. More ships would come. Bigger ships. Angrier aliens. "Amy, any word from Fleet Command?" Amy checked her screens. "Message coming in now, sir." "It's from Admiral Stone herself." Admiral Patricia Stone was the head of Earth's space fleet. She was a tough woman who had fought pirates for 20 years. If anyone understood the situation, it was her. "Put her through." The screen flickered. Admiral Stone appeared. She was 60 years old with silver hair and sharp blue eyes. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Captain Morrison, I've read Sam Hughes' report. 12 alien ships destroyed, with no losses on our side. Is that accurate? Yes, ma'am. The Thunder Soul performed better than expected. How much better? Jake thought about it. Their weapons couldn't penetrate our shields. Our weapons cut through their hulls like butter. It wasn't even a fair fight. Admiral Stone smiled for the first time in the conversation. Outstanding. But this is just the beginning. Intelligence says the Zephyrian Empire has thousands of ships. They'll come back with everything they have. We'll be ready, Admiral. I hope so. Because I'm ordering the construction of 50 more Thunder Soul class ships. The age of peaceful exploration is over, Captain. We're at war now. The transmission ended. Jake looked out at the stars. Somewhere in the darkness, alien fleets were preparing for battle. Earth was building new warships. The galaxy was about to become a very dangerous place. Sir, incoming transmission, Amy announced. It's not from Earth. Unknown origin. Jake frowned. Put it through, but keep weapons ready. The screen showed an alien face. But this one was different. The creature had smooth silver skin and large black eyes. It looked nervous. I am Ambassador Veltar of the Centauri Republic, the alien said. We witnessed your battle with the Zephyrians. We must speak. Go ahead, Jake said carefully. The Zephyrians have conquered or destroyed 12 species in the last 100 years. No one has ever defeated their fleet. Until today, your victory will change everything. Jake waited for the alien to continue. We wish to propose an alliance, Veltar said. The Centauri Republic and humanity, united against the Zephyrian Empire. Together, we might have a chance. What can you offer us? Star maps? Intelligence about Zephyrian fleets. Technology. We know their weaknesses. Jake considered this carefully. Earth needed allies, but they also needed to be careful about who they trusted. I'll pass your message to my government, Jake said. But understand this. Humanity doesn't bow to anyone. We won't be junior partners in any alliance. Veltar's large eyes blinked. After seeing your ship fight, we wouldn't expect you to be. The transmission ended. Jake turned to his crew. What do you think? Ryan spoke first. We need allies. But we can't trust them completely. Not yet. Amy nodded. I agree. The Centauri seemed genuine, but aliens thought we were weak too. Lisa's voice came from engineering. More allies means more targets for the Zephyrians. It could help us or hurt us. ATLA spoke up. Based on available data, an alliance would increase our chances of victory by 37%. Jake made his decision. We'll recommend the alliance to Earth, but we keep our guard up. Trust but verify. Over the next few hours, more messages came in. 3 other alien species wanted to talk. Word of the Thunder Soul's victory was spreading fast. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting. Captain, you should see this, Amy said. She put a new transmission on screen. It was Admiral Kethfor. The alien looked terrible. His purple skin was pale. One of his 4 arms was in a sling. Behind him, Jake could see the damaged bridge of his flagship. Human Captain, Kethfor said. His voice was filled with hate. You think you have won. You think your one victory means something. You are wrong. Jake didn't respond. He just listened. The High Council has declared total war on humanity, the alien continued. Every ship in the Empire is coming for you. Every weapon we have will be used. We will burn your colonies to ash. We will turn Earth into a dead rock. Kethfor leaned closer to the camera. And when we are done with your species, we will hunt down every alien that helped you. The galaxy will remember what happens to those who oppose the Zephyrian Empire. The transmission ended. Jake looked at his crew. They had heard the threat too. "Well," Ryan said quietly, "I guess we really are at war now." Jake nodded. The Zephyrians wanted to destroy humanity completely. They wanted to make an example of Earth, but they had made one crucial mistake. They had shown humans what they were truly capable of. The Thunder Soul was just the first ship. Earth was building more, bigger ones, better ones, and humanity had all eyes now. "Atlas, send a message to Earth," Jake ordered. "Tell them the Zephyrians are coming with everything they have. Tell them to build the fleet faster." "Message sent, Captain." Jake looked out at the stars one more time. The real war was about to begin. But humanity was no longer the weak species the aliens thought they were. The Thunder Soul had shown the galaxy that humans could fight. Now it was time to show them that humans could win. 6 months had passed since the Battle of Kepler 442b. The Thunder Soul orbited Earth, its hull gleaming with fresh repairs. Jake stood on the observation deck, watching the orbital shipyards below. 50 new warships were under construction. Each one was bigger and more powerful than the Thunder Soul. The galaxy had changed since that first battle. News of humanity's victory had spread to every corner of space. Some aliens feared humans now. Others wanted to be their allies. The Zephyrian Empire was mobilizing for total war. "Captain, Admiral Stone wants to see you," Amy announced over the intercom. Jake made his way to the conference room. Admiral Stone was waiting with several other officers. Her silver hair was shorter now, and she looked tired but determined. "Jake, sit down," she said. "We need to talk." Jake took a seat across from her. Through the window, he could see the new ships taking shape. Their hulls were black instead of gray. Their weapons were larger. They looked like ships built for one purpose: war. "The Zephyrians are coming," Admiral Stone said. "Our scouts report a massive fleet gathering near their home system. At least 500 ships." Jake felt his stomach tighten. 500 ships was more than humanity had ever faced. "When will they arrive?" he asked. 3 weeks, maybe 4. "They're moving slowly, probably to gather more ships along the way." "Admiral." Stone activated a holographic display. It showed the local area of the galaxy. Red dots marked Zephyrian forces. Blue dots showed human colonies. Green dots were their new allies. "The good news is we're not alone," Stone continued. "The Centauri Republic has committed 200 ships. The Velkari Union is sending 150. Even the Andromedans are talking about joining us." Jake studied the display. The combined Allied fleet would outnumber the Zephyrians. But numbers weren't everything. "What about Earth's defenses?" Jake asked. "Orbital defense platforms are online. We have 20 Thunder Soul-class ships ready for battle. Another 30 will be complete in 2 weeks. Stone's expression grew serious. "Jake, I'm giving you command of the first human battle fleet. 50 ships under your direct command." Jake was stunned. 6 months ago, he was a patrol captain. Now he was being asked to lead humanity's largest space fleet. "Ma'am, an ordered, but nothing," Stone interrupted. "You've fought the Zephyrians and won. Your crew knows how to kill their ships. Most importantly, they trust you." Jake nodded slowly. "What are our orders?" "Stop them before they reach Earth. The final battle will be at the Proxima system. All Allied fleets will meet there." 3 weeks later, Jake stood on the bridge of the Thunder Soul. Around his ship, 49 other human warships moved in perfect formation. Each ship was commanded by officers who had trained with Jake's crew. They knew his tactics. They trusted his judgment. "Approaching Proxima system," announced the pilot. "All ships, battle formation," Jake ordered. The human fleet spread out into attack positions. The Thunder Soul took point, leading the charge. Jake could see his crew was nervous but ready. They had trained for this moment. Enemy fleet detected, Atlas announced. 537 Zephyrian ships. Additional Allied vessels also detected. The main screen showed the massive enemy fleet. The Zephyrian ships looked like a swarm of angry insects. Their biohulls pulsed with dark energy. At their center was Admiral Kethfer's new flagship, twice the size of his old ship. Centauri fleet is in position, Amy reported. Velkari ships are moving to flank the enemy. Andromedan vessels are providing long-range support. Jake opened a channel to all Allied ships. This is Captain Morrison of the Thunder Soul. Today we fight for the future of the galaxy. The Zephyrians think they can rule through fear and violence. They're wrong. Show them what free people can do. The Allied fleet responded with cheers and battle cries in a dozen different languages. Jake smiled. They were ready. Admiral Kethfor's voice came over the radio. Human Captain Morrison, you have caused me great pain. Today I will repay that pain 1,000 times over. You're welcome to try, Jake replied. The Zephyrian fleet charged. Forward. Their ships moved like a green wave across space. Energy weapons began charging. The final battle was about to begin. All human ships, focus fire on their command vessels, Jake ordered. Cut off their head, and the body will die. The Thunder Souls. Main guns opened fire. Plasma beams shot across space, followed by missiles and energy torpedoes. The other human ships joined in, creating a wall of death that met the Zephyrian charge. The first alien ships to reach the human line simply vanished. Their biohulls couldn't withstand the concentrated firepower. Green explosions bloomed like deadly flowers, but the Zephyrians kept coming. For every ship they lost, 2 more took its place. Their return fire began hitting human vessels. The cruiser New York took a direct hit and went dark. The destroyer Phoenix lost its engines and drifted out of formation. They're breaking through. Our left flank, Ryan reported. Jake saw the problem. The Zephyrians were using their numbers, overwhelm specific points in the Allied line. Traditional tactics wouldn't work. All ships, break formation, Jake ordered. Free attack pattern. Hunt in pairs. The human fleet scattered like wolves. Each ship paired with another and began stalking individual Zephyrian vessels. The aliens had trained to fight organized fleets, not individual hunters. The battle became a deadly dance. Human ships would appear, destroy an enemy vessel, and vanish before the Zephyrians could respond. The aliens began shooting at shadows and hitting their own ships by mistake. Enemy flagship is moving toward us, Amy announced. Jake looked at the screen. Kethfer's massive ship was pushing through the battle, heading straight for the Thunder Soul. The alien admiral wanted personal revenge. Good, Jake said. Let him come. The 2 ships faced each other across 1,000,000 miles of space. Around them, hundreds of other vessels fought and died. But for Jake and Kethfer, only this moment mattered. You destroyed my first ship, Kethfer transmitted. You killed my crew. You humiliated me before the High Council. You attacked innocent people, Jake replied. You got what you deserved. Both ships fired at the same time. Plasma beams and bioenergy blasts crossed in space. The Thunder Soul's shields held firm. The alien flagship's hull cracked and bled. Impossible, Kethfer screamed. My ship is 3 times larger than yours. Size isn't everything, Jake said. Lisa, give me everything the quantum core has. The Thunder Soul began to glow like a small star. Every weapon system charged to maximum power. The ship's hull actually bent from the energy flowing through it. Main cannon at 200% power, Ryan reported. Fire. The plasma beam that erupted from the Thunder Soul was brighter than the sun. It hit the alien flagship dead center and kept burning. The biohull tried to heal itself, but there was too much damage. The ship split in half like a broken egg. Admiral, Kethvar's last transmission was a scream of rage that cut off in static dot with their flagship destroyed. The Zephyrian fleet began to collapse. Ships tried to retreat, but the Allied forces were everywhere. By the end of the day, less than 50. Enemy vessels escaped. Jake stood on his bridge, looking at the aftermath of the greatest space battle in galactic history. Wreckage floated for millions of miles in every direction. Both sides had lost ships, but the Allies had won decisively. "Casualty report," Jake asked quietly. Amy checked her screens. 12 human ships destroyed. 8 Centauri vessels lost. 4 Valkyrie ships damaged but repairable. The Zephyrian fleet is essentially destroyed. Jake nodded. The price of victory was always high. But they had saved Earth. They had saved the galaxy from Zephyrian tyranny. "Incoming transmission from Earth," Amy announced. Admiral Stone appeared on screen. She was smiling, but Jake could see tears in her eyes. "Jake, the whole galaxy knows what happened at Proxima. You didn't just win a battle. You ended an empire. The Zephyrian High Council has requested peace talks." "What are our terms?" Jake asked. "Complete withdrawal from all conquered worlds, reparations to the species they enslaved, and recognition of humanity as a major galactic power." Jake looked. Around it his crew. They had started this journey as explorers. Now they were the defenders of the galaxy. "Admiral, I recommend we accept their surrender," Jake said. "But keep the fleet ready. There might be other empires out there who think they can push humanity around." Stone nodded. "Already planned. We're building 200 more ships. The galaxy is a dangerous place, but it's a little safer now, thanks to you and your crew." The transmission ended. Jake walked to the observation window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere in the darkness, new threats might be gathering. But humanity was ready now. The Thunder Soul had been the first strike, but it wouldn't be the last. Humans had learned they could fight. More importantly, they had learned they could. The age of human expansion had truly begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.